Brady, why don't we hop in? I think, people will see, we'll keep piling in here, but let's hop in and make this thing happen.
Let's get it cooking, guys. Thanks again for everybody signing on. Just make sure one last time, you mute your microphones so we don't have too much background noise. Welcome again to the Basketball and Banter, kind of the preseason edition. Coach, I was scrambling. I got a chance to watch you guys in action a little bit. I'm tired just watching you guys practice. It was a fun time for me anyway. But it was great.
No, it was interesting. We had legendary coach George Karl at practice today. And it's funny because I thought we were going fairly fast. And then afterwards, he's like, you guys don't play fast enough. I was like, what? But that's why he's a legend, Yeah, it's funny. I think we play in practice at a pretty quick rate. We don't want to slow down too much. And so I think our guys, and it's tough because this is our third day in a row. And it sounds like, well, it's easy to practice 4, 5, 6 days in a row. In college, it's really hard to rev it up. 3 days is fine. You start getting to that 4th and 5th day in a row when you're going to full all-out official practice, it does get hard. So I thought I told our staff at the end of practice, and these guys look tired, and they probably are tired. But I'm glad to hear that you were exhausted watching it, Brady. That makes me feel good.
Yeah, I thought you guys played plenty fast. But then again, I'm walking around all the time. But, that's an interesting point too, Coach. You guys are playing against each other nonstop. And during the season, you have those breaks, obviously, with games where you're not just going up against each other every single day. So that has to get a little bit interesting as far as, you guys probably just ready to go against an opponent here pretty soon.
Yeah, I think our guys are to that point in time. I mean, I think we're on like our 13th official practice, but you had the fall. And then before that, we had a foreign trip, which I know we'll talk about. And then before that, we had summer workouts. So, I mean, we're probably give or take on like our 40th practice. And our guys are to that point in time where they just want to go up against somebody else and compete. And so I definitely understand that. We're getting closer to the season, but it is almost at that point where you feel like it's just starting to grind a little bit. You're guarding the same guy, you're going against the same guy. It's the same thing. So it will be nice to get some outside competition soon, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, just getting a chance it was pretty cool. Yeah, to see Coach Karl there watching practice. I saw him taking notes. I didn't get a chance to see what those notes were. I'm going to try to get them for you at some point, Coach. But it's neat when you see guys like that kind of investing in your program. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff surrounding this program right now, and it seemed like he was very interested to see what was going on in Greeley, Colorado.
He showed me his notebook. He had over 4 pages of notes, and it was thorough, and it was great. He talked to our guys probably for about 30 or 40 minutes, and I tell you what, like just the nuggets he gave them, and our guys all have their own individual player notebooks, and we were like, hey, you bring the notebooks out, you're going to take some notes. And I was actually proud because the guy that I played for, Don Meyer, he was a big notebook guy, and Coach Karl, about 20 minutes into his talk, he was like, you know what, this is the most, said something like, this is the first time I've seen people taking this many notes when I'm talking. And it actually was something that we were, kind of proud about. So that was good.
Yeah, no question about it. I'm pumped just seeing practice. I know we're getting closer, very, very closer to that, close to that first game of the season. Coach, this is something I think is kind of cool. We're going to get the roster going here. We're going to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves. They don't need me to do it. They don't need an introduction from me. These guys have been working hard. And I think it's, is it time for us to meet the 2021-22 Bears?
Yeah, I think so. And I know our guys got like the order that they're going to introduce themselves in. And so when they do that, my players, make sure you guys got your screen on so that our people can see your face as you talk. So they're just going to introduce themselves, answer some basic questions about where they're from, what grade they are in school, and all that different stuff. And then kind of go from there. So it looks like I've got my little cheat sheet. It's going to start with Zach Block, and it's going to go all the way through at the end with inning with Bodie. So let's see if this works or not. They just got out of practice. I think they're ready to go. Zach Block, are you around?
Yeah, I am.
All right. The mic's yours, buddy.
All right. Well, hi. I'm Zach Block from Lawrence, Kansas. And I'm a freshman, 18 years old, and I'm an undeclared major.
Good job, Zach. Who's next?
Hi, everyone. I'm Dawson Moore. I'm 19 years old. I'm a freshman. I'm from Scottsbluff, Nebraska, and I attended IMG Academy last year. And my major is biology.
Perfect. Next.
I'm Baylon Black. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm 18. I'm a freshman this year, and I don't have a major.
Good job, Baylon.
My name is Trent Hudgens. I'm a sophomore, I'm a freshman, but technically I'm a sophomore. I went to Santa Clara last year, and I'm 19 years old, and I'm undeclared for my major.
Perfect. Jalen, you around?
All right.
Ooh. Sound like some technical difficulties for Jalen. Let's see if he's around anywhere. Jalen, let's try it again if you're around.
No.
Go ahead, Jalen.
Jeremy?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. I'm Jalen Page. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Boulder, Colorado, and my major is business.
Jalen is changing the locker room. That's the real behind the scenes access when you get into these Zooms. That's what happens.
Yeah.
So, all right, Connor.
I'm Connor. I'm from Hastings, Nebraska. I'm a sophomore, and I'm majoring in sports management.
Perfect. Jamel, you're up.
My name is Jamel Melvin. I'm from PG County, Maryland. I'm a sophomore, and my major is business administration.
Job, Jamel. How about Bryce?
I'm Bryce Kennedy. I'm from Dallas, Texas. My major is business administration with a focus in accounting and management, and I'm 19 years old.
Job, Bryce. Theo.
Hey, I'm Theo Hughes. I'm a 20-year-old sophomore from London, England, and my major is criminology and criminal justice.
Dalton.
My name's Dalton Connect. I'm 20 years old, and my major is undecided.
Big Coor.
Hi, my name is Coor John Cooch. I'm from London, Ontario, Canada. I'm a 22-year-old senior, and now I'm old. And my major is economics.
Job, Coor. Trey.
Hi, I'm Trey Smooths. I'm from Sacramento, California. My major is communications.
Job, Trey. Dalen.
Hi, my name is Dalen Kuntz. I'm from Denver, Colorado, and my major is sociology, and I'm a senior right now. I would be a senior with COVID.
Perfect.
I don't know. It's COVID coming here.
Let's go, Drew. Drew, you around?
I'm Drew Cookshausen. I'm from Scottsbluff, Nebraska. I'm a fifth-year senior. I'm 22 years old.
Perfect. Now I don't think
my major is I'm a communication major.
Oh, good job, Drew.
My
fault. Matt is not around unless he cuts me off. Matt's actually doing his internship to graduate in Christmas, so I don't think Matt's around. Bodie.
Yep. My name is Bodie Hume. I'm from Sterling, Colorado. I am 22 years old, and I'm an econ major with a business emphasis.
Perfect. So that's our team, Brady, and it's kind of funny because like these guys, just for the people watching, they're like, well, I'm a senior, but I'm a junior, or I'm a freshman, but I'm a sophomore. What they're referring to, just for our people, is that last year with COVID, everyone got a free year. And so it makes things really confusing what class they're in. Are they seniors? They could play 5 years. Matt Johnson, as an example, who's not on the call because of his internship, Matt could actually be in college for 6 years because Matt redshirted. He got a free year of COVID and then 4 years to play. So, and I think that's what Matt's intention will be, is to play, to be in college for 6 years, push all the way through and get his master's done. So I know, Brady, we'll get into that later on, but it's really wonky. Like even our players, I don't know if they're seniors, juniors. No one really knows what these guys are anymore, but just so our people know that there's a lot of confusion on their ages. So Go ahead, Brady.
Hey, I at least they have an excuse for not knowing what year they're in, because I had that a lot, but I didn't have a real good excuse. But I'm impressed with the coordination there to get every player popping up. And it was just perfect. You guys were fantastic on that. So that was these Zoom things can be difficult. I know getting just 2 people to do that is tough. So hats off to you guys. That was perfect.
Kudos to Coach Klump for solving that somehow. So that was a Coach Klump masterpiece.
Well, Coach, talk to us about the roster a little bit. 10 returners, 6 new guys, of course, and just kind of breaking this roster down. I know, and again, there's a lot of optimism around this program because you're returning so many of those successful players and some pretty exciting new faces too.
Yeah, I think for us, going back to, even before the new guys, 10 returners. And last year, we didn't have our full roster available until the very last game before the Big Sky tournament. Obviously, the majority of that was COVID related. Going back to last year, we had 14 games, I think, canceled or moved because of COVID. So long story short, we finally got fully healthy going into our last game, which was at Weber State, really good team. Played well there, and I thought we played well in the tournament as well. And so having those guys back, I think our top 7-minute guys are back, 10 returners. And then from there, knowing kind of what was coming back, and I think our staff did a tremendous job of really piecing together our recruiting class to fit in what our needs were. And so you kind of lump all that together, Brady, and I think so far, we feel good about it. We're undefeated like everybody else in the country. But we do have some more data, just being able to watch our guys in Puerto Rico and seeing kind of what we could be. So we are really excited about how the roster is kind of shaking out right now. We're older too, and that matters.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to that too. They get very exciting roster. And I like what you said, Coach, about you're going to show us some clips too. We're going to look at some practice clips of the team thus far. But, the foreign trip, we've talked about that leading up on a lot of these Zoom calls. And you actually have some footage for us where we can kind of see what you put together during that trip and kind of what that was all about. It was pretty special.
Yeah, so we're going to just show some of the people may have seen this, may have not. Our video team and David Sobolchik, our sports administrator, went on the trip with us and captured a bunch of really good footage on his GoPro. He was working the entire time. And so they put that footage together for just a little 4-minute thing. So I do want to play that because it has some really good film of not just the basketball stuff, but really what the trip meant. And then we'll kind of go from there. But before we get in, I do have some behind the scenes game footage too, where we're going to actually talk basketball. But I will try to share my screen here, Brady, and we'll play this real quick and then kind of go from there. So I've shared my screen, and let's hope that the audio works. Does this work, Brady?
Going.
Okay.
We went to San Juan, Puerto Rico. Everyone was in the sea, just messing around, just diving into waves, punching waves. It was just, it's like being in paradise. It was cool.
The trip was amazing, man. It was probably one of the best times of my life.
Sunny every day, all day. The beach was beautiful.
Had my shirt on because I was sunburned the whole trip. Tomato red, beet red. Chilling off the beach with all the teammates and then hooping on the court with them.
And we got to go paddleboarding. I've been paddleboarding before. My paddle broke, which was kind of upsetting. It just snapped right on me. Fell in the water and everything.
Oh, he's a pro. Lake Sterling's full of paddleboards. I'm just waiting for the fall. There it is, and I got it on camera.
The trip was all about kind of team bonding and playing for the first time, with the new team.
I mean, it was great for our team because we had a lot of new guys to bond and stuff like that, and just be in a foreign place and just kind of get experience something new.
The Puerto Rico trip for team bonding, it meant a lot because last year we didn't really have a summer. So this year to play games in the summertime, real games against people that we'd never seen or knew, is a different experience and much needed.
Taking a trip like that definitely helps a lot of build team morale, build team chemistry, and get to know the guys better. So just having the opportunity to have us all close to all being able to hang out in a hotel room together, or all being able to play together, or go to the beach together, it just kind of ultimately helped me at least understand everyone a little bit more. To go on that trip when we sort of accustomed to each other was cool. So team chemistry was really good, and yeah, it was a great experience for us.
It was really important because, last year we didn't even have a summer. We didn't have anything like that, and we were kind of behind. this year with the 8 weeks that we had, like I think we have a really good head start or like kind of jump on the year. So it was really good.
My favorite memory from Puerto Rico is coming from a game and just going straight to the beach and chilling with the team.
We actually got to go into the ocean at night, and you mentioned the seaweed. The seaweed scared me a few times. Crawled up my leg. I was like, oh, I don't know what that is.
As I said, just like being like on the ocean all day, being like on a like a really like beautiful resort was really cool to wake up and just see that every day.
Ziplining was a lot of fun though. Everyone was really scared. You got to see who was really a daredevil or not.
Thumbs up. I was a little scared, I'm not gonna lie. You're pretty high up and you're just kind of like fighting for a fourth.
Played 3 games against 2 professional teams and all-star professional teams in Puerto Rico, and then 1 university team.
But basketball is a lot different. I can see why Team USA struggles at times. It's a lot more physical. It's a different style of basketball, but it's good for us to do something new.
It was a lot different. We found out early on that it was about noises and kind of how you could sell things.
I feel like we were a level above the teams we played there. I think we each had a better team system and we played well against them, so it's good.
Everyone got to play 2 out of the 3 games. So it was just kind of fun to be able to like sit on the bench too and cheer everyone on and like learn and see different sides of the game that I haven't seen.
We've already, got 3 games under our belt. Like most teams haven't played at all. They just scrimmage and practice each other. Kind of gives a head start, like what we're going to look like, what kind of works, what doesn't work for us, and just kind of helps us just gel a little quicker.
From a basketball standpoint, the effect that it had on the new guys is that they learn our plays a lot quicker. They learn what we're about a lot quicker because we had to go to Puerto Rico and we had to get ready for that.
To all the donors, the boosters, and President Feinstein, I just want to say thank you so much. The opportunity was amazing. We had a great time, and we really appreciate everything you've done to give us the opportunity to go.
Thank you, boosters, for allowing us to go out to Puerto Rico. It was a fun trip.
I just want to say thank you to all the boosters, donors, President Feinstein, everybody for making this happen. It was a trip like of a lifetime, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you for everyone that contributed to us going to Puerto Rico. It was well appreciated.
All right, Brady, that's that.
Man, it's such a cool trip, cool experience. But Coach, some of the guys have talked about it too. What does that do for you guys, bringing you together, and get you ready for a tough season? Because, yeah, it's a great experience just hanging out and being with each other, but you're playing a lot of interesting competition, guys that, as they said, guys that are playing different styles of basketball. What does that stuff, do for you as far as bringing you together and getting you ready for the season?
Yeah, it was really physical, especially in the first 2 games we played were professional teams, and they were kind of a mix of kind of the professional all-stars down there in Puerto Rico. They had already started their season. And I just think when you play those older teams, you learn a lot about yourself. There was 5 Division I schools down there, us, High Point, Nicholls State, Liberty, and I'm losing my mind on the other one, but there were 5 teams that were good teams down there. And those professional teams, they really played well against the Division I teams. Our first game, we played probably the best professional team. The first game we played a professional team that almost beat High Point, and we played so well. We almost beat them by about 30. And I think just the kind of confidence of watching, kind of correlating a little bit. But I would just say, Brady, that just, again, the physicality of it, when you're playing against grown men, you're playing against, 25, 27-year-olds. And some of our guys that are new guys are 17, 18 years old. That's a big difference. And I thought that really was good. You don't get a lot of foul calls. It's a little different game because it's under those FIBA rules. So you have a different shot clock, a 24-second shot clock, as opposed to our 30-second. So you got to play faster. So there's more possessions. You got to make quicker decisions too. So I thought all that was great for our team for sure.
Yeah, well, and again, a great experience, and I know so many of the folks on this Zoom meeting, really contributed to that and allowed that to, help make that possible. So it's to me, I look at that kind of stuff, and these are what you hear. These are the stories you hear about when great teams go on to do great things. A lot of times they go back to these trips and say, hey, it all began there in Puerto Rico when we were just kind of get that sense of togetherness and competition.
I know that the first day in the hotel breakfast, Tubby Smith, who, the famous coach from Kentucky, he's now at High Point. And I was talking to him at breakfast, and they had just finished their tour. we were just talking about it. You can only do these every 4 years. And he told me, he said, hey, every one of my best teams is always at the end of a foreign trip. Every single one were the best years that I've had. And so we'll see. Again, we're undefeated right now. That'll change once we start playing some games. But I do think that the additional time that you get to play and just be together, like our team should be a lot closer right now than a team that did not get one of those trips.
Well, and it's like, the guys we're talking about in the video, you had a strange summer before that. Guys were, sequestered in different dorm rooms during the COVID year. Having a trip like that where you're just all together, hanging out, having fun. I mean, got to be like a night and day difference there.
I think we had one of our guys was quarantined his freshman year for I think like 50 days. And so when you just think back to the human element of, for all of us getting through that year and then to be able to go out to that, it could not have come at a better time.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, Coach, as far as clips and everything, do we have more clips there, or do we want to move on to the practice clips too and kind of discuss how practice is going thus far?
So we'll go practice clips, Brady, and I'll kind of bounce back and forth with some Puerto Rico stuff. But yeah, let's kind of go into the practice stuff and kind of this behind the scenes stuff that we all like to talk about. And I think our people like to, enjoy seeing. So let's do that.
Yeah.
So really what I thought about, is, okay, how is practice going? Again, we started officially in October, but we're probably about 40 practices deep. What I wanted to show is what's important to us. And obviously it's interesting to listen to George Karl talk about our team today, but all the cute little fancy things we try to do on offense, that's fine. But the most important stuff for us right now is all the little things that we think contribute to winning. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen again. And let me see if I can figure this out. Okay, so all right, so Brady, can we see this right here?
Yep, we got it.
So this is actually really cool. So our guys get to see this every day. And what this is, okay, you can see this. This was from what? Today's the 13th. So on the 11th, okay, this was our rebounding efficiency. And this is something we've done for the past 4 or 5 years. And the goal is not how many rebounds do you get. Okay, that's predicated by how many minutes you play, how many shots go your way, but it's all about effort. Okay, so our guys know that they need to be at an 80% effort, and that's a lot harder to do than it sounds like. So if you look at this, and I don't mind exposing our guys in this deal. As a player, you're trying to get to 80, and as a team, you're trying to get to 80, and it's almost impossible to do, especially as a team. But on every shot, so if the people can grasp this, on every shot, we have one of our assistant coaches that grades the offense and one of our assistant coaches grades the defense. Okay. And so in the big picture, that is a massive amount of work that we have to do after every practice. Now, if you look at right here, this 81%, this deal here, like even if I highlighted it, boom, technology. Okay. So in this practice, there were 358 attempts total, right? And so the staff is charting every attempt by every player when we go live 5-on-5. And again, the goal is I don't want to get too far in the weeds of what does it mean. Offense, you're either a crash guy or get back guy. Defense, you just got to do your job. And so every shot, you either get a check mark that you did it good or you get a minus, you did it bad. It's pretty simple that way. But at the end of the day, like Matt had 38 attempts, Dalen had 31. Balon had 16. You're not going to have the same amount of attempts, but when you're in and when the shot goes up, your attempt will be graded. And you can just see here that for us, like this stuff's so much more important. So what happens is we put this on our big whiteboard, and the next day players walk in and they look at it. Yeah, they care about it, but what they really care about is that if I kind of scroll it over here, this last column here, it says sprints, right? So we have a formula that if you're below 80%, and again, if you're below 80%, we also take away sprints if you get rebounds. But if you're below 80%, you're gonna have to run. Now, this is one of the best ones we ever had. We've had days where guys have had 9, 10, 11 sprints. This is actually really good. And we call it paying your taxes. So the rebound effort's a huge thing. The other thing that we've added in this year, these two columns, L and M, right? So scout mistakes. We're really big into making sure that our guys understand the scout. Now in practice, all that means is they got to understand who they're guarding, and we'll change a player's role every day in practice. They might be a player, they might be a driver, they might be a sniper. But if you screw up how you're guarding them, you're going to get a scout mistake and you're going to run. It's going to add a sprint to your total. On the flip side, as I get to my filmer from practice, in this column right here, winning plays, for every winning play, you can take a sprint away. So what does all that mean? This is all this data that we compile. We have coaches that grade all this stuff. So now let me see if I can find this little edit here. So I want to give our people a little view of what a winning play is. Okay, so can we still see the film, Brady? We good? All right.
Yep.
So winning plays, I know this is a little bit choppy, but on the winning plays, okay, we're just playing this practice, whatever. Okay, Dalen right here makes a winning play, getting to the right spot, misses the strip right here, but gets back in the mix on Theo, on Big Theo, and gets his hand on the ball. And that right there, getting that steal, that deflection, that would have been a winning play for Dalen. We chart all that stuff, okay? Because again, that's the stuff that helps you win games. So we get the steal. All people care about is Dalen throwing this lob to Dalton. That's a really cool play. We're like, oh, it's amazing, right? But our point is this: if Dalen doesn't get his hand on the ball and get the steal, this highlight play never happens. So it's the winning play that leads to the dunk, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Okay, the next one. All right, let's see what this winning play is. Okay, first of all, like a really good effort by Jalen Page right here to come over. We call this walling up. So right here, you can't get to a charge. So Jalen Page puts two hands in the air, fouls with his chest. That's a foul that doesn't get called very often. But then the real winning play is Bryce Kennedy right here. Boom. Okay, Bryce gets an offensive rebound. Okay, so there's a winning play. Now, instead of Bryce just trying to throw it up over, Jamel Melvin, who's almost 6'11", probably not going to go good. Bryce knows to pivot out, and then Bodie knows to come back into play, and we call this a dagger. This is the best three in basketball. These are called daggers. Bodie misses it. But Bryce, being who Bryce is, gets another winning play, gets in a fight down here, and tips it in again. So that's the stuff. Hopefully the video goes through. That's the stuff that matters to us. I'll show you a couple more. These are really cool. Boom. That's a winning play. This is Bryce again. Now, right now, I can tell the everyone on this Zoom that going into today's practice, Bryce has 17 winning plays. He has the most in the team. That's an important stat to me. But right here, Bryce, he's guarding a driver, winning play. Okay. Let's watch two. I think we have 5 or 6 of these. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Another winning play is just sharing the ball. So, Core puts 2 on the ball. And again, our goal is all you got to do is put 2 on the ball. Then you got to make the right play. So Core gets 2 on the ball, throws it to Bryce. Trey's a good shooter. So if Trey would have shot this, no complaint. But Trey passed up a good shot to give us a great shot by Drew. That's a winning play. That's how you win basketball games, by sharing the ball. Okay. Bodie here on the miss. And then the obvious winning play is Core on the 50-50. I mean, Core's in there. It's 5-on-1. There's 5 dudes in gold. There's 1 dude in blue. But somehow Core rips it out of the entire, mix right there. Misses the layup. Gets another offensive rebound. Again, like George Karl told our guys, basketball is a game of mistakes. There's a lot of mistakes. Drew, who's one of the better shooters I've ever been around, he could have taken the shot. No one would have said anything to him. He passes it up for the shot in the corner, winning play. So that's what we're really trying to emphasize to our guys. The winning plays are on both sides of the ball. And here's our last one, I think. Okay, right here. This is another one from Drew. Okay, Dalen, who's really talented and athletic and finished really well. He gets the angle coming off what we call a stagger. Theo comes over to help. So it should be an easy dunk to Core. But Drew does a great job on this one. We call this cracking back. He cracks down and he gets the steal. So now Drew gets a steal, saves it, which ultimately allows Balon Black to get a layup in transition. But if Drew didn't make that play, that never would have happened. Okay, so that's that. And the other thing I want to show our people on the offensive, and this is funny because I was laughing, with Coach Karl, is that he was talking about we're not playing fast enough, and we probably weren't today. We should have done some Spain break, Bodie, you guys, I can see here. We should have done some Spain break and played with 8 seconds because that's what he likes to see. But anyways, so the other thing offensively that I like to show our people on the call today is that on offense, I do believe we're really talented this year. Like, we can really score. And that doesn't mean we're going to win, but I think we can really score. And the biggest thing that we've been talking to our guys about, and Coach Karl said the same thing, he said we versus me. Well, we've talked about it in the sense like it is our shot. It's not your shot. It's our shot. So watch these. These are Puerto Rico clips. This is really cool. So I got about 5 of these. Okay. So Matt gets it. You know, Matt could have been selfish and taken 3 or 4 dribbles. Okay. Pitches up to Bodie. Bodie, if he goes in and shoots it, no one's going to say anything to Bodie about that. Bodie's a really good player. Okay. Bodie, instead of shooting some crazy shot, throws it to Dalton. And even from the offensive stuff, watch Dalton and Drew space. You got Dalton here and Drew, another new guys, the spacing here. So the sharing the basketball on offense so we can get our shot, we are really hard to go against if we'll play like this. So here's again, same clip, but we want to play really fast, but not stupid. Okay. The spacing is great, but the sharing is what really matters to us. So hopefully when people that are on this watches this year, they got the idea that it's our shot. Okay. Now we got Trey coming up. Okay, we get to what we call a twist ball screen, whatever. Okay, Bodie drives. Now, right here, the biggest thing we tell all of our guards, perimeters, whatever, all of our guys, is just put 2 on the ball and then make the next play. So Bodie put 2 on the ball. And what happens is he shares it. And now between Trey, Matt, and Dalen, 3 really good players, there's 3 of them, and there's only 2 dudes in blue. We have an advantage. Bodie created the advantage, but now we got to share the ball. So Trey shares it, Matt shares it. We'll win a lot of games if that's who we are. So that's our shot. Okay, Trent comes off, throws it to Bodie. Now we play out of the post. This is a really cool clip. Watch this one. So now Theo, instead of just throwing some crazy stuff, nice pass out to Trent, throws it to Bryce, throws it right back. And when we're sharing like that, we are so hard to guard. And we got to get back to that, to be honest with you. Okay, how about this one with Matt? You know, Matt was an all-league guard last year, good player. If Matt goes up, takes a good shot, no one complains. But Matt in this clip gave up a good shot to give Bodie a great shot because Bodie's not going to miss many of these. If we can just get Bodie the ball by the rim, it's going to be about 99% of the time that's going to go in. So that was a great unselfish play. And then watch this clip. Dalen Kuntz gets the rebound, takes 1 dribble. Balon Black takes no dribbles, right? No dribbles. Matt Johnson takes no dribbles. So in that entire possession, we took 1 dribble by Dalen, and that's it. Boom, boom, boom. And now we're there at the rim getting the foul. So I just think those, and I got a million of those, or we could go on forever, but I just think those are so cool, and I'll stop the share on that. But I just think those are such powerful clips, not only for our people to see, but for our guys in the call to see too. Because if we are talented, and our guys know that. So if we will share the ball on that end of the floor, and if we'll really guard on the other end, we do have a chance to be really good, Brady. So wanted to share those with our people on the call.
Yeah, I think it's just really interesting when you look at some of those, when you go to practice too, and you talk about winning in practice and how those little things throughout practice can correlate and take you to the next game. And even the spacing, just seeing guys knowing, okay, they're in the same spot, moving quickly to make sure that they even out the floor so well. So I think it's fascinating. To be honest, could sit there and just watch those plays over and over again just to see how they develop. That's really fun. And I think it's a fun feature as a part of these banters every time we do them.
For sure. Well, and the other thing with practice before we kind of move on to schedule in the future is that our guys know it's really competitive. We have 16 guys, and I'm glad that Coach Carl brought it up. Coach Carl brought up the point that most teams play 8 to 9 guys. And so as he said 7 or 8 of you guys are going to be sitting on the bench. And then he talked about it more like, how are you going to respond and things like that. But it is true that we can't play 16 guys, and our guys know that. And it is really competitive. And they've done a nice job of, staying together, because you want to be competitive, but you're still the same team. But practices have been really, really good so far. So we got to keep that edge for sure.
And I think I loved what you had to say too about, hey, we want to play fast, but we also want to make sure we're not out of control at the same time. And I think that's an interesting balance, which it appears, something that you guys are striking right now is trying to find that perfect balance.
We're trying. Yeah, we're trying for sure. For sure.
All right. The season's not too far away, Coach. That schedule is awesome looking. I mean, just looking at that non-conference schedule, there's a lot of really, really interesting games. Talking about trips, what are we, a month away? November 10th, you're looking at Hawaii for that Rainbow Classic, man. I think that's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, no, it's good. And if I can solve my computer, okay. All right, so we can just go right back. I'll put the schedule up there so people can see. So, yeah, as you mentioned, we've got a couple closed scrimmages first, and then we go right to Hawaii. And it's funny because everyone's like, well, it's going to be awesome, which it is. But in our world, I think the pressure obviously of winning and just trying to be good. I mean, there's a lot of stress. I mean, these are real games. And so you've got Pacific, who's a very good team in the West Coast Conference, which is Gonzaga's league, and then a road game at Hawaii. And then we have a non-D1 Hawaii Hilo. But yeah, Brady, we start right off with that deal and we kind of go on from there. So it's going to be a grinder for sure, the entire non-conference.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And I know as far as the broadcast schedule, when we're broadcasting those games, we'll get the guys ready to stay up late for a few of these games as far as mountain time goes. So that'll be unique. So we'll have coverage of that. That'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, if we just kind of look at it real quick on the screen, I mean, you got the Hawaii deal, then we have our home opener, Colorado College, which is a massively quick turnaround. But again, it's kind of the only way we can fit the games in. So we got that. And then we go right down to Texas, and we're going to play at Texas, which, Jeff Goodman, who's one of the top analysts in the country, he's got them ranked number 2 in the country. I mean, it's a legit top 2, 3, 4, 5 team. New coach Chris Beard's down there. So we're at Texas. We've got a California swing right after Thanksgiving, which we're actually blessed that we get to be home for Thanksgiving this year. But right after Thanksgiving, we're at Colorado State, which most people are predicting to win the Mountain West. So that's going to be a massive game again. Couple league games sprinkle in, Montana State, Montana, which are home games, big games. We go right after that against South Dakota. And then our final stretch of non-conference games before Christmas, Arizona, Washington State, and Northern New Mexico. And I do know that I got on my notes here, the Arizona game, just there's a reminder for our people that might be down there. Lindsey Crum and the alumni and Jenny Shoup, they're going to do we have a big alumni base in Tucson, Phoenix area. And so we are going to do, if you are at that game, I believe it's going to be 5:00, and I'm talking about the Arizona game on game day. We're going to do a big deal at a place called Gentle Ben's. So at Gentle Ben's at 5:00, we've got a big function down there before the game. And I know we'll have more details to follow on that, some more email reminders as well. But I did want to put a plug in for that. And then really after Christmas, it's all Big Sky play. And so, starting January 1st, the goofy, New Year's game at Southern Utah, who will probably be picked to win the league. And then it just goes on from there. And I'd say the other thing, Brady, on the schedule is that Big Sky, we are back to the traditional travel partners, where it's not like last year where we played at Montana 2 games in a row. And then whoever, Eastern Washington, comes out here 2 games in a row. It's back to the traditional play Thursday, travel Friday, play someone else Saturday. So wanted to stress that as well.
Are you happy about getting back to that regular style in conference play, or is there a party that kind of like that?
Yes. I don't know, like for us, we were always really good on the first day of that deal. Last year, we won the majority of our first day stuff. And then whether you call it adjustments or we just couldn't figure it out, the second day playing the same team, especially in that empty gym, I just thought it was really hard. And it was hard for guys to kind of have the same, I don't want to say focus, because I thought they were really focused, but it's just different. So I think playing the team, it's harder for our coaches to prepare and scout, but I think for, just a more consistent type of deal, it's going to be better.
Yeah. I'm ready to get back to the normal conference schedule too. And that non-conference schedule looks so much fun. I think that's going to be very entertaining. So we're pumped for that. I know Lindsay's putting some information in the chat box too about that Arizona game and the event going on at Gentle Ben's. So if you guys want to check that out, and if you have questions for Coach about the team, about the state of college sports in general, it's a really interesting time to be a college sports fan. You can throw them in there and we'll see if we'll do our best to answer them. Coach, kind of moving along there and talking kind of about, the volatility of college athletics. You're talking, boy, you got name, image, and likeness stuff. You got transfer portal conferences moving around. The free COVID year that we talked about earlier, as far as what that looks like for some of the athletes. I don't know how you keep track of it. I make a lot of stuff up on the air, but you have to really know this stuff and be ready for it. So the name, image, and likeness side, let's discuss that a little bit. Obviously, folks they have questions about it. Some folks go right to, colleges are paying these athletes, and that's not the way it's working. It's allowing these players to essentially make something off of their name, image, and likeness.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head, Brady. The overall of it, it's still such a new frontier that we really stress with our guys that one, I'm actually really supportive of it. I think it's great. I think going back to the Fab Five Michigan days where they were selling all those jerseys and none of those guys made any money off of it. And when I was a little kid and I had a Nintendo and a Sega Genesis and I had, college football and was playing, my favorite college football teams, and none of those kids made any money, but everyone else made money off it. I think it's good. Now, with that being said, with it being so new, I mean, we've really told our guys to really be educated about it. We pushed them to try to get on a lot of educational Zooms and things like that. And then, their protection is they go through compliance. And, if they get a contract with somebody, it gets uploaded to compliance. And compliance is really the middleman that can make sure that what they're signing, they understand what they're signing. Because the worst thing would be if you sign something and it might be just a crazy bad deal for you as a player, but you just don't know yet, And then the other stuff too, where, players understand that if you make $100 for whatever in your NIL, you're not making $100 because you got to factor in the taxes and everything else too. So I think from a real world perspective, it's great that they start to learn this stuff at a young age. I think it's going to really help them all out. And it's just, just trying to figure out, it's the balance of how important is it to work on that versus how important is it to work on what's really important. And that's your craft, right? And that's from a basketball standpoint. And then also from an even more important standpoint, being a good student, because you can get lost in the shuffle of forgetting you're a student, forgetting you're a basketball player, and you're, getting deals and NIL. Like, it's really, time management is probably the most important thing for these players these days, to be honest with you. But I think it's a good thing, but it's a new thing.
Yeah, I think those are great points too, because it's all about balance. Like we talked about, even on the floor, it's about balance in your life too, because you're trying to keep to your schedules, to your basketball schedule, to your school schedule, and then trying to figure that out as you go. So that's certainly something interesting to navigate through. And it's I'll tell you what, it's entertaining to hear a lot of these players too. They're kind of mini marketers for these schools too. They're going out and they're doing some of these things. So in that sense, I think it can be a really positive thing for the schools and for the players. But like you said, Coach, you got to handle it the right way. The other one that I have a hard time keeping track of is that transfer portal. It is, it's like the wild, wild west right now. Just looking on the football side of it, it seems like every day you're seeing something. And now obviously we're approaching the basketball side. So how do you do that? It's a constant battle, never-ending battle to keep the team going, to look at your recruiting, and now perhaps looking over your shoulder too, because there are other opportunities or players are just looking at different setups too. That's an interesting side.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just, in today's day and age, that you have a real relationship with your players. I think that's really important. And when you don't, when it's, transactional and it's not transformational, when it's just about, well, you're a player, I'm a coach, your job's to play good and my job's to win. If that's all it is, then it's kind of fake. And I think as a staff and, our staff, and I sure hope, myself, I do a good job of it too, but having real relationships is important. Now, the transfer portal in general, there's a lot of positives too. We had some kids that got in the portal last year that, didn't play very many minutes, and they came in and we had honest conversations after the season. They said, Coach, I want to go somewhere and play. And so we had some guys as examples that went to Division II schools, and they're going to have great Division II careers. I think that's great. And so I think it can get a negative connotation for some of the negativity that surrounds it. There are a lot of positive points with the portal as well. The downside is that, obviously you have a good player at any level, someone's going to try to steal them or poach them or slide in their DMs on Twitter. And they're going to try to, again, talk them into it. And now you can just transfer wherever you want to go. So I think there's some of that it makes, whatever you want to call it, the shadiness of some of the illegal recruiting a little bit easier for some of those people to do. And it goes back to, I'm very proud of our guys that, our guys coming back, and because I'm sure that a lot of our guys, we have a lot of good players, could play at a lot of levels. And I just think it goes back to, I think players enjoy being here. I think it's a good thing. But before last year, there was never been over 1,000 transfers in the portal. It's always been under 1,000. Last year, there were 1,800 players in the portal. It's crazy. It's amazing, the numbers of it and the volume of it. But what people are learning too is sometimes you might get in that portal, you might not get out of that portal either. So that grass isn't always greener as well. So I think everyone's trying to learn that too, but it's at the same time as name, image, likeness. So that just the volatility is the right word for college athletics in general.
Yeah, no, I think you're right on. There's a lot of positives. And again, it just goes back to everything we're talking about. If handled the right way, it can be beneficial for both parties, the team and the student athlete as well. How about the conference realignment? At all levels, we're talking about that. It seems like every day we're talking. I mean, this has always been with us, but now more than ever, we're discussing conference realignment. That's touching you guys too, with Southern Utah as well.
Yeah, Southern Utah leaves the league next year, goes to the WAC, so this is their last year. Just so you know, every level feels it. I think too, I was on a Big Sky head coaches call last week, and the Big Sky was proposing a new 4-year, round robin schedule. And we have a couple of coaches in our league, the coach from Montana, the coach from Weber State, and the coach from Sacramento State that have been in the league for 12 to 15 years. And the guy from Montana, Coach DeCure, he stopped him and said, "Hey, can I just stop you?" He said, "I think it's great, 4 years." He goes, "But I've been here a long time, and we've always done these 4-year things, and we've never gotten to the 4th year because there's always been a change within the 4 years on someone leaving or being added to the conference." And then he asked the Sacramento State guy, Coach Katz, and he said, "Yep, we've never gotten to 4 years." And then my previous boss at Weber State, Randy Ray, said, "Yep, we've never gotten to 4 years." And so they're like, why don't we just do 2-year schedules? Because we're not going to get to 4 years. In 4 years, something's going to be different. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, geez, like it's never happened in the last 15 years where these 4-year schedules have ever worked. So yeah, the realignment all the way from, Oklahoma or Texas or whatever going to the SEC. And now, is Boise going to go to the Big 12 and what's happening in CSU and just all these different things that are going on. There's a trickle down effect or a trickle up effect, right? So yeah, I mean, it's just everything's so volatile. It's just who knows who you're playing next year. I have no idea. So,
I think it's interesting, Coach. You and I were talking a little bit about this the other day. When you look at so many, schedules can be 5, 10, 15 years in advance. We learned last year in the COVID year, you guys can schedule like on a Thursday and play a game on a Friday. I mean, we learned that. So
that was great.
I look at it and say it makes perfect sense. Don't schedule too far out because especially now, you never know. And then that just seems like it's going to create a headache for everybody involved.
I would agree. So yeah, I think the word is volatility. We're just volatile times. And again, we always joke with our guys that they would laugh at me if I said, what's our favorite quote? And the quote is the great ones adjust. So we're all just adjusting all the time. That's all we're doing, just trying to figure out the next step.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that going on, a lot of adjustments to be made for sure. Coach, let's talk a little bit about the newsletter. Let's let folks know about that.
Yeah.
If they don't know about it, we'll give them some information.
So I'll just go back to real quick. This is kind of funny. I'll single out Coor. If I can figure this out on my computer, give me 2 seconds. All right, so I'm going to share my screen yet one more time. So we have our September newsletter, and Coach Clopel kind of takes the lead on this, and it's got all these in-depth reports and stuff. We take a coach, like last month it was Coach Reed, and then we do a couple player profiles. Coor in this last one, as I'm scrolling through, and our new guy Dalton, which I think it's really good information. But I was laughing as I was reading through Coor's, and he was talking about, if you can see right here, Coor talks about cooking, and that he's trying to learn how to cook, and he's not a good cook, but in a few years he'll be the next Gordon Ramsay. I had no idea who Gordon Ramsay was, so I had to pop on Google, and now I know who Gordon Ramsay is, which is on the screen as well. And I was reading about, his latest recipes, and I'm like, all right, Coor, you're going to be the next Gordon Ramsay. But yeah, we do have, our newsletter we push out every month. And I just think it's got some actually really cool information on our guys. We'll put some stuff in there on our schedule. Eventually, when we sign a couple recruits in November, we'll put out our recruit information, which we can't put out yet until they're signed. But yeah, the newsletter is a great way for us to stay in touch. And it puts in some round ball stuff too, but I think it's a good one for sure, Brady.
Yeah, I love it. And I love those Q&As too, because it does, the player talks a little bit more about their interests, basketball, but outside of basketball too. And if you become that great of a cook, man, let me know. Cause I could use some, I'm good at making cereal and sandwiches so far. So I need to add a few things to my repertoire. So we'll get there. How about, Coach, let's finish, we'll kind of round this thing out with the round ball push to kind of talk about the $1,000 level, the champs room, just to refresh everybody. Didn't have it last year, so let folks know everything that goes into that.
Yeah, so just really the last things as I look at my notes, the round ball push, and we'll talk about season tickets too, just real quickly. But round ball, like people say, well, how can I help out? And it's, hey, if you can give $1, you can give away way more than that. It all helps. I mean, it all really contributes. It goes back to whether it's the foreign trip, things we need to do in recruiting. Our budgets, like anyone's in college, with COVID and all that pressure financially, our budgets in-house, they're not going up. So we've got to be very aggressive in terms of trying to raise money. So the round ball in general is great. The thing that we want to emphasize, because we didn't have it last year, is what we call that $1,000 level. And that level is really cool because it not only gives you some more gear and stuff like that, but it gives you what we call champions room access. And the champions room access on all of our home games is both pregame and at halftime. People get access to not only catered in food, but also beverages. And we will always have one of our coaches, myself, and or one of our assistants will come in and give kind of that behind the scenes chalk talk right before the start of the game and just talk about, hey, here's who we're playing, here's the key people, and we'll throw a few really important nuggets out there that are good for people to know. So yeah, I know that Lindsay just put in the chat what the link is, but big picture, people that help us out, we really appreciate it. But I do think that last year it was really hard. We had no fans. And then at the end of the year, we had like 25 fans, and then we had maybe 100 fans, but it was all like no one's allowed. There was no champs room. So we just want people to know that we're going to have that champs room access again. And I know I'm excited for it. And I think it's a really cool kind of little deal that we do at that level. So that's what that is, Brady.
Yeah, I think it's a great feature. And as you said, Lindsay's putting some information up there in the chat box if you'd like to take a look at that. Coach, season tickets, we're like I said, we're not that far away as far as looking at season tickets and getting after it to attend games. I mean, that's the key phrase, right? Attend games from start to finish. I know folks are just excited to get out and watch this program.
Yeah. And for the season tickets. So what I understand is whatever this means, the digital renewals went out, about 2 or 3 weeks ago on September 20th. Okay. And then the mail renewals are actually going out today. So for people that I guess have had season tickets in the past, that's how those renewals will be going out. And then I could certainly put Lindsay or Jenny on the spot in terms of, if you just want to get season tickets, you've never done it before, how would one do that, Lindsay or Jenny? If you just want to get some season tickets, what do you do? Oh, there you go. So it's in the chat. So yeah, so if you want to purchase your season tickets, there's that link right there too. So just a way for people that want to get around. Our guys are excited. I think we've got a chance to be really good. I think it's going to be a fun team to watch this year. So hopefully we have a great push with those season tickets.
Yeah, Jenny, did you want to elaborate a little bit on that side of it? Oh, no, you're good. You got it on the chat. It's all there for you. Okay, well, there's information there to check out season tickets. And Coach, just looking at the Puerto Rico trip, the practices, the excitement building around the returners, the exciting new faces. I think bottom line, when you all wrap this thing up, it should be a really fun year, and we should expect some really great stuff from this team this season.
Yeah, I know our expectations are high, and I know our guys that are back, those 10 returners, and we got some guys that are old. I mean, we got, guys like, again, Matt Johnson's in his 5th year. He's the oldest, but then you got guys, Bodie, Coor, Trey, and maybe Trey's even been here 5 years. Trey's been here for forever, but you got guys that have been here for a long time, and they put a lot of sweat equity into becoming not only a good college basketball player, but to win games. And so I just think that there's a hunger amongst our team to be good. And so I'm really excited for what we could become. We're a long ways away. Coach Carl today pointed out multiple weaknesses, which we appreciated. Again, that was really cool. But, how hard our guys are working, we're going to get there. We're going to find a way to get there.
It was interesting too, and talking and folks, if you have any questions in this last 3-minute period here, if you have any questions for Coach, shoot them in there, or you do the raise. Can you do the raise hand feature? Is that a thing anymore? Or you can just type it into the chat box, and we can get those questions fired off. I thought it was interesting too, and Carl even told me, he said, "Hey, keep in mind, I'm used to watching those Denver Nuggets over the years too, and in those games, and I had some great conversations with him about you and your coaching staff." And I just think that the nugget there to take away is George Karl's interested in this program. You got, what is he, the 6th all-time winningest head coach in the NBA as far as regular season wins? And he's taking an interest. He's excited. He wanted to come up and watch this program, and that just doesn't happen very often as far as that goes. And I think that that's a tip of the cap to you, Coach, to your coaching staff, to this entire roster.
No, we appreciate it. It was certainly cool to have him in the gym and just get, a couple of minutes to pick his brain. I mean, it was much appreciated. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free, chat, unmute your mic, anything. If anyone has any questions, we're happy to answer them.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys want to unmute your mic, let us know. If you type it in there, we can get questions. Or Coach, I know you're always throwing out that, hey, you're a pretty open guy as far as talking about this program, even outside of these Zoom meetings. I know that. So I mean, people can pick your brain. I think that that's something that's really unique amongst you, of course, basketball coaches in general. Just you guys really like to talk about that program, and I think that's a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah, we're pretty open. We're pretty easy access for people to get to us, and just the ability to help share out. It does look like someone raised their hand. Reynolds family looks like. Let's see.
I have a question. So with that being said, with the improvement or the feedback you received, what was one of the things that you guys heard that needs to be improved going into the season?
Yeah, it was funny because, Coach Carl, they played really fast. And I thought he was putting me on a trick question in practice. He said, hey, what do you think my team averaged at North Carolina from 1969 to 1973? And those teams always played really fast. So I thought it was a trick. So I was like, I don't know, 70. He's like 94. So he was on we got to play faster. And some of the stuff that we do to play really fast, we did not do in today's practice plan. So that was big. But he talked about, really like, the me shot versus the we shot. He talked about one thing that was really good is like the ability for people to pass, like passing. And it sounds like so elementary, but when you have an NBA coach that's won over 1,000 games, he said the biggest thing is passing, and we've been turning that ball over the last 3 practices like crazy, and starting to drive me crazy. But passing was the biggest thing that he talked about. And just not just passing the pass, but, the quality of the pass. So that's the one thing that I really, really took away from that is that our guys, it's not just sharing it, but the quality of the passing. I thought that was a big thing. Good question.
Yeah, great question. Fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, do you have another follow-up question or anything, or do we get it there?
No, I'll just leave it open for someone else to chime in if they have questions. No, I don't want to hog the call.
Yeah, you can raise your hand. That is a unique feature, man. I just love that feature. It's fantastic. The first thing that George said when I talked to him, Coach, and apparently he said it to you, I think he just like dreams about this. He said basketball is a game of mistakes, right? He said that.
Yeah.
The very first thing he said to me. I've been watching this guy my whole life, and the first thing, and I said, I am not playing basketball anymore, so it doesn't really apply to me. But that is just something that you have to live with, right? You're going to have those mistakes. You're going to have those turnovers. You kind of just have to know that going in. It's just trying to limit those and trying to bounce back, have that short memory as far as that goes. But I thought that's clearly something that's on his brain.
Yeah, I think it's kind of it's the play fast but not play crazy. That's a big thing, and it's a fine line. You're towing that line all the time. But no, that was a big thing, Brady. And I think that for us, because we do want to play fast and we want to get up and down and get into a pretty deep bench, I think that's a big thing. So.
Yeah, well, it's great to see you guys. I always brag about it. I say I love going and watching UNC Bears basketball. It's so much fun for me to sit back. I'm entertained just by the practices, and your coaching staff. I think you guys just do a phenomenal job of keeping that thing organized and rolling through. So from what I'm seeing, I'm not George Carl, but from what I'm seeing, I think we're in store for something really fun. And I don't know if we have any more questions for the time being. I think folks are pumped and excited and pretty satisfied with the Zoom today. And I'm sure questions will pop up throughout the course of the season.
All right. Well, we just, lastly for me is just, again, thanking everyone for your support and your time and being a part of this. This is, we really want to continue to grow our program, and we can't do it by ourselves. It's everyone helping out. And so just being supportive is a big thing. We don't take it lightly. So thank you for all that everyone does.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. I love being a part of this, and I'm educated by this every single time. So thank you all. And we'll look forward to the next one. We'll look forward to the start of the season, which is right around the corner. We're looking at that Hawaii trip, November 10th. And it's coming, man. That first game is soon. So we're looking forward to it. Go Bears.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks everyone. Have a great night and go Bears.